Hello, beautiful ladies. Let's talk about something. A man who hasn't had sex for a long time isn't chasing everyone. He's noticing one woman. And when he does, his attention becomes intentional. His presence becomes heavier, and his attraction becomes impossible to hide. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 signs a man hasn't had sex for a long time, why that makes him emotionally and romantically vulnerable to the right woman. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, his desire doesn't rush out of him in loud or careless ways. It shows up quietly, gently, through attention. You feel it in the way he slows down when he's with you. He isn't checking his phone every few seconds. He isn't distracted. When you speak, he looks at you like your words matter, like this moment matters. And that kind of attention feels surprisingly intimate. He listens in a way that feels warm and steady. Not just hearing you, but really taking you in. He remembers small things you mention without trying to. The way you like your tea, the story you told once about your childhood, the expression on your face when something excites you. When intimacy has been missing from his life, attention becomes his language of desire. It's how he connects without crossing a line too fast. There's no rush in him. No pressure, no feeling that he's trying to take something from you. Instead, he gives you time, he gives you space. Conversations don't feel hurried. Silence doesn't feel awkward. Even quiet moments feel comfortable, like they're meant to be there. This is because urgency wants an outcome, but attention wants a connection. And connection feels romantic because it allows you to be fully yourself. You may notice that when he's around you, he becomes softer, his voice lowers, his movements slow down. It's as if being near you calms something inside him, while also waking something up. He doesn't try to impress you with big gestures. He impresses you with presence, with the way he makes you feel seen and valued without saying much at all. This kind of man doesn't rush intimacy because deep down he respects it. When something has been missing for a long time, it becomes precious. He doesn't want to waste it or turn it into something shallow. So instead of pushing forward quickly, he lets the connection grow naturally. He allows attraction to build slowly, layer by layer, through shared moments and emotional closeness. You might feel like time moves differently with him. A short conversation feels meaningful. A simple smile feels personal. When he asks about your day, it feels sincere, not polite. He wants to know how you feel, not just what you did. That curiosity is desire expressed in the safest, most romantic way. And this is why his attention feels so powerful. It's focused, it's calm, it's intentional. When he's with you, you don't feel chased. You feel chosen. You feel like he's there because he wants to be, not because he expects something in return. His desire doesn't overwhelm you. It gently surrounds you. This kind of attention creates trust. It creates comfort. And most of all, it creates attraction that feels real and deep. Because when a man's desire shows up as attention instead of urgency, it tells you something beautiful. He isn't just interested in closeness, he's interested in you. And that beautiful is one of the most romantic feelings a woman can experience. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, the way he touches changes in a way that feels almost poetic. His touch isn't careless or automatic. It's thoughtful, measured, as if he's fully aware of the meaning behind even the smallest contact. You might notice it in the simplest moments, a light hand on your back as he guides you through a doorway, a brief brush of fingers when he hands you something, a hug that lasts just a second longer than expected. Nothing about it feels rushed, yet everything about it feels felt. There is intention in his touch because touch has become rare for him. And when something is rare, it becomes precious. He doesn't take it for granted. His body doesn't move on instinct alone. It moves with awareness, almost restraint, as if part of him is savoring the moment while another part is making sure not to cross a line too quickly. That balance creates a quiet tension that feels deeply romantic. You may feel how present he is when he touches you. His hand doesn't wander. It doesn't feel distracted. It feels grounded, warm, and steady. And even when the touch is brief, it lingers emotionally. You feel it after it's gone. Because intentional touch doesn't end. When contact ends, it leaves an imprint. It stays with you in the space between moments. This kind of touch carries respect. He's not trying to prove anything. He's not trying to rush intimacy. Instead, he's honoring it. When a man hasn't been physically close to someone in a long time, he understands the weight of closeness. He knows how much it can mean. So his touch becomes a quiet question, not a demand. An invitation, not an expectation. You might notice that he hesitates just slightly before touching you, as if he's checking in with the moment, with you, with himself. That pause is powerful. It shows awareness. It shows care. It shows that he wants the touch to feel right, not just feel good. And that hesitation can be more intoxicating than confidence alone, because it comes from sincerity. There's also emotion in his touch. Even if he doesn't say much, his body speaks. A gentle squeeze of your hand can carry reassurance. A soft touch on your arm can carry longing. When intimacy has been missing, emotion naturally finds its way into physical connection. Touch becomes a way to communicate what words haven't yet said. And this is why his touch feels so different. It doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't rush you. It makes you feel safe, seen, and desired at the same time. You don't feel taken, you feel chosen. You feel like he's fully aware that he's touching you, not just a body, not just a moment. This kind of touch builds anticipation instead of pressure. It creates closeness without force. And slowly, beautifully, it deepens attraction. Because when a man's touch is intentional, even in its briefest form, it tells you something important. His desire is real, his attention is focused, and the connection he feels with you matters more than speed. And that, beautiful, is where true romance begins. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, his attraction often reveals itself long before he ever finds the words to express it. You see it first in his eyes, not in an obvious, consuming stare, but in the way his gaze settles on you and stays there as if he's quietly taking you in. His eyes soften when they meet yours. There's warmth, curiosity, and something unspoken moving beneath the surface. It feels less like he's looking at you and more like he's seeing you. You might notice that when you're talking, his focus doesn't drift. His eyes don't wander around the room. They stay with you, following your expressions, the small changes in your face, the way you smile when something feels true to you. It's as though your presence pulls him in. When intimacy has been missing from his life, attraction becomes something he feels deeply. Before he ever acts on it, and his eyes become the place where that feeling lives, there's a quiet intensity to it. Not hunger, not pressure, just awareness. When your eyes meet, the moment lingers a heartbeat longer than expected. And in that pause, something passes between you. A shared stillness. The feeling that neither of you rushes to break. His eyes communicate interest without demand, desire without urgency. It's gentle, but it's unmistakable. You may catch him looking at you when he thinks you're not paying attention. Not in a way that feels uncomfortable, but in a way that feels thoughtful, almost reflective, as if he's memorizing you. When a man hasn't been close to someone in a long time, attraction becomes precious to him. He doesn't skim past it. He dwells in it. And his eyes naturally linger on the woman who stirs that feeling. There's also honesty in his gaze. He doesn't hide behind charm or words. Even if he struggles to say how he feels, his eyes reveal it effortlessly. When you laugh, they light up. When you grow quiet, they soften with concern. He becomes emotionally present through his gaze before he ever opens up verbally. His eyes respond to you in real time, reflecting his interest, his warmth, and his growing connection. This kind of attraction feels safe. You don't feel watched, you feel acknowledged. You don't feel evaluated, you feel appreciated. His gaze doesn't take from you, it offers something: attention, respect, a silent reassurance that he's fully there with you in the moment. And that can feel incredibly romantic because it allows intimacy to grow without pressure. Over time, you may realize that his eyes say the things his mouth hasn't yet found the courage to speak, that he's drawn to you, that he feels something real, that your presence matters to him. When sex has been absent, emotional awareness often grows stronger, and his eyes become the bridge between longing and connection. This is why his attraction feels so clear even without words, because before he reaches for you, before he confesses anything, his eyes have already told the story. They've shown you that his desire is quiet but deep, patient but sincere. And when a man looks at you like that, beautiful, attentive, and unguarded, it creates a closeness that feels just as intimate as touch. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, something gentle and unexpected happens inside him. His heart opens before his body does. You may notice that with you, he begins to share pieces of himself sooner than you would expect. Conversations drift into deeper places. He talks about his thoughts, his past, his hopes, and sometimes even his fears, almost without realizing it. It feels natural, like something he's been holding inside finally has space to breathe. There is a softness in the way he opens up. He doesn't perform strength or confidence all the time. Instead, he allows you to see him as he truly is. He might tell you about moments that shaped him, lessons he learned the hard way, or dreams he hasn't spoken out loud in a long time. When intimacy has been missing, emotional closeness becomes the safest doorway back to connection. And with you, that door feels open. You may notice how comfortable he becomes around you. His voice relaxes. His words flow more freely. He doesn't keep everything light or surface level. He trusts you with his inner world, sometimes without fully understanding why. It's not because he's weak. It's because he feels safe. And safety is deeply connected to desire when a man has been without closeness for a while. There's something romantic about the way he lets you in. He isn't trying to impress you with perfection. He's showing you honesty. He shares what excites him, what worries him, what he's learned about love and life. And in those moments, you may feel like you're sitting closer than you actually are. Emotional intimacy has a way of shrinking distance without anyone moving. This kind of openness often surprises even him. He may pause mid-sentence, realizing he's saying more than he usually does, but instead of pulling back, he continues. Because being with you feels easy. When physical intimacy has been absent, emotional expression often grows stronger. He's been holding feelings in, and now they're gently finding their way out through conversation. You might feel that he genuinely wants to be understood by you. He asks for your thoughts. He listens carefully to your responses. He values your perspective, not just your presence. That mutual exchange creates a bond that feels warm and real. It's not rushed. It's not forced. It unfolds naturally, like a quiet connection deepening over time. What makes this especially romantic is that his openness isn't strategic. He's not sharing to gain something from you. He's sharing because it feels good to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted. And when a man feels emotionally understood, attraction deepens in a way that's slow and lasting. This is why his vulnerability feels so meaningful. He's letting you see behind the walls he usually keeps up. He's trusting you with his truth. And that trust creates a closeness that can be just as powerful as physical intimacy. Because before a man reaches for your body, he often reaches for your heart. And when he opens up to you faster than you expect, it's a sign that your presence has touched something tender inside him, something that's been waiting. And that kind of emotional connection, beautiful, is often the beginning of something deeply romantic and real. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, his attraction doesn't come casually or in passing. It arrives fully, completely, and it lands on you in a way that feels deeply personal. You can feel it in the way he looks at you, not just noticing your presence, but noticing you. The curve of your smile, the way your eyes light up when you laugh, the subtle shifts in your mood, they all matter to him. It's as if your essence, the real, unfiltered you, has captured his attention, and everything else around him fades into the background. When he's drawn to you, it's not about fleeting desire or physical craving alone. It's about feeling a connection that resonates deeply inside him, a magnetic pull he can't ignore. You might notice that he thinks about you when you're not around. Simple things remind him of you, the way you spoke about a story you love, a song that played while you were together, or even the scent of something you were wearing. He replays moments in his mind, savoring little gestures, remembering every laugh, every glance. Each memory builds a mental image of you that he carries with him, a private gallery of moments that only he has access to. That's the kind of longing that comes from absence. The longer he's been without intimacy, the more focused and attentive this longing becomes. And when he's drawn to someone, it naturally becomes intensely personal. It's also visible in the way he behaves around you. He doesn't just treat you like any other woman he might be casually interested in. His words become softer, his gestures slower and more deliberate. Every smile, every look, every touch carries meaning. Even in silence, you can feel the intensity of his focus on you. He leans in just a little closer, listens just a little harder, and remembers just a little more. That personal investment, his careful attention, is his way of showing that you matter to him on a level deeper than physical attraction alone. When a man hasn't had sex for a long time, he tends to approach desire differently. It isn't scattered. It isn't casual. He doesn't divide his energy or interest among many women. Instead, it becomes concentrated. You become the recipient of that focus, and that makes everything he does feel more intimate and meaningful. You feel like you are the center of his attention, not because he's trying to impress you, but because he is genuinely captivated by you. Every laugh you share, every conversation you have, every glance exchange carries a weight and significance that is impossible to ignore. And this personal attraction creates a tension that is both romantic and magnetic. You sense that he is invested in more than just the moment. His interest is layered with emotion, curiosity, and desire. It is thoughtful, intentional, and uniquely yours. When a man is drawn to you in this way, it doesn't feel casual, it feels like an awakening. Recognition that you have stirred something inside him that has been waiting to be touched. It's deeply romantic because it's personal, real, and undeniable. You are no longer just another person in his life. You have become the woman who occupies. His mind touches his heart and draws his desire in a way that feels profoundly yours.